Good morning, or afternoon, depending on how long it takes me to edit this thing. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you for those of you who have been watching these videos, mostly for your patience, because those of you that know me know that I am extremely camera shy. I've probably made more videos in the last few days than I have in my entire life. I don't like having my picture taken, so this is all really new for me. Bear with me, I'm trying to get used to it. Also, don't judge me. It's early. I'm double fisting Coke Zero and coffee, so whatever. Another thank you to everyone who's sending me messages in my inbox and email. You've given me some really great ideas for other videos that I can do, as well as letting me know what you want to hear as far as my opinion on certain things, you know, my background. I'm an open book. I'm not shy. I'll tell you about anything. So ask me, please. Send emails, send messages, send comments. Whatever you guys want to hear, know about, talk about, let me know.
Say hello to my doggy.
Come here. Hello. That's my kid. So the main question people have been asking me is how I went from a democratic socialist to a conservative. And boy, that is a doozy. So let's get right into it. So I guess my first interest in politics came in 2008 during the summer, during the recession. At the time, I couldn't have told you one difference between a Democrat or a Republican. I couldn't have been less interested. What I was interested in was the fact that I had just lost my job at a hardware store and I only had enough money to pay my rent for a couple months. So suddenly, all of my friends were telling me that I needed to vote for this guy named Barack Obama. I didn't know much about him. I wasn't living under a rock. I knew that there was a black guy running for president, but that was all I knew about the guy. I didn't care. But they said that he was going to bring back our jobs. He was going to make us more wealthy. He was going to give us free school. He was going to make it cool to be gay, because that was not cool back then. Basically, he was Jesus. So I voted for Jesus. Unfortunately, the whole jobs thing wasn't forthcoming, and I had to join the Army. After all my training, the Army sent me to Fort Irwin, California, which is in Southern California in the middle of the effing desert. So when I started making friends in California, shocker, they were very liberal. A few months of, kickbacks, hangouts, dinner parties, other parties, weekends at the lake, weekends in LA, Vegas, San Diego. I was a Democratic Socialist. I didn't really know what that meant. What I did know was that it meant I hated Republicans, conservatives were the devil, Christians needed to be wiped out, and white people were extremely questionable. Oh, and capitalism had to go. So, when I finished my time in the Army and came back to South Carolina, the conservative capital of the world, those policies were greeted with razor blades and lemon juice. My friends and family weren't too happy with my newfound beliefs. As a matter of fact, I remember on one occasion being at my best friend Sasha's house. If you're seeing this, Sasha, you're probably going to remember this. She had just gotten a new husband, she had just gotten a new house, she had just gotten a new job. She was doing very well for herself. And me, little socialist, just home from California, decided to lambaste her about how she didn't need all that money and how I was a socialist and she was an evil capitalist and she should be ashamed of herself because while she was celebrating her new job and new money and new house, there were people sleeping on the streets and she didn't deserve it. Sasha's a black woman. Oh my god, shocker. A liberal white dude bashing on a successful conservative black woman. That was me. I was that guy. So 2012, 2013, Democrat politics had become just race. That's it. I was told on several occasions myself I was a white man. I had no input on the subject. Despite my protests and what I thought were mostly class issues rather than race issues, Democrats didn't want to hear from me, and I was shut up at local Democratic Party meetings, so I stopped going. I was still a Democrat though, and when the midterms of 2014 came around, I still voted Democrat, but those midterms would change everything for me. When the Democratic Party had its collective ass handed to it in the 2014 midterms, I was devastated. I didn't understand. How the hell did these straight white Christian conservatives come in and make a lame duck out of the first black president? So I was curious. For the first time, I decided to read the Republican Party platform. So after reading the Republican platform, while I disagreed with them on a lot of things, I found out they weren't the demon Nazis that the Democrats had made them out to be. I decided to take an audit of my own beliefs, and line those up with the Democratic Party and see where I fell. Y'all, I was not a Democrat. So why the hell was I a Democrat? That was an easy enough question to answer. I was a Democrat because I was gay. Okay, bitch, so why are gays Democrats? That's the right question. So a lot like the black community right now, the gay community is pretty much Democrat by default. And I wanted to know why that was. What had Democrats done for the gay community to make us wholesale join their party? I was curious. And that required a little digging in gay American history. The American gay community had its collective coming out, I suppose, in the 1960s with the Stonewall riots. Ever since then, we've been injecting ourselves into American popular culture, pretty steadily. From the cult favorite Rocky Horror Picture Show in the 70s to that half-assed Sharon Needles knockoff the Boulet Brothers of today, gays have been building our place in American society all by ourselves. As a matter of fact, the only time the Democratic Party shows up in our history was to set us back. The 1990s with Bill Clinton saw the introduction of the Defense of Marriage Act, and Don't Ask, Don't Tell. The Defense of Marriage Act, a creation of Bill Clinton, essentially outlawed gay marriage on a federal level in perpetuity. As far as he was concerned, I highly doubt he thought the next Democratic president was going to undo that legislation. Bill Clinton also brought us Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which I had to deal with in the Army, having to serve in the closet. Fortunately, it was repealed while I was serving. Both of these ridiculous setbacks for gays were passed by Democrats. And then the Democratic Party tries to pretend it's gay Jesus. How the hell did that happen? Turns out, the Democratic Party did to us exactly what they did to the black community. The Democrats hadn't really changed their position, the way they acted. They had just changed their tactics. They fought the black community every step of the way to equality. But once it became clear that black people weren't going anywhere and they were going to have a voice in this country, suddenly Democrats wanted them on board. So rather than continue fighting the black community, the Democratic Party just pretended to be the champion of the black community. All the while, they're gentrifying them out of their cities, destroying the black family, and eliminating black wealth. The gays were just a new token. Take my hometown, Charleston, for example. Democratic mayors have taken it from almost 50% black to less than 25% black in only 50 years. But the Democrats are staying in power because they're building an African American history museum. At the same time, they're gentrifying black families out of their homes and neighborhoods by the droves. How is this helping? Make it make sense. So then I was pissed, not just because I ran out of coffee. Oh, I found out. The whole Democratic Party was a sham. The whole point of a political party is to bring people together that have common views of the future, to work together to bring that vision into reality. It works well for the Republican Party as long as you subscribe to their social and economic values. You can be a member regardless of what you look like, who you worship, who you sleep with in most cases. With the Democrats, they're made up of this coalition of people who have different visions of the future, which is why that party stagnates and they have to focus on fear. And I'll explain. Take one member of the Democratic coalition, for example, the gay community. Not all of us, but as a general rule, the gay community is very secular. We are not basing our decisions as a community based on tradition, based on religion, based on any of those things. The gay vision of the future is predominantly a secular one. Take another member of the Democrat coalition, for example, the black community. While the black community votes Democrat, if you really pay attention, the community as a whole is very conservative. A lot of them believe in family values. A lot of them are very religious. The black community is extremely religious. As a general rule, the black community isn't all that on board with homosexuality. So the vision for the future that the black community has is going to be very different from the vision of the future that the gay community has. Let's take another member of the coalition, for example, that's been added in recent years. The Muslim community. Right out the gate, the Muslim community is inherently at odds with the gay community. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but there are parts of the world, mostly Muslim parts, where gays are having our heads chopped off, being thrown off of buildings, burned alive, sunk in cages, and drowned, like you name it. These people do not like us. It's not popular to talk about, but Muslims also have a really shady history when it comes to black people. In fact, the majority of African slavery that happens today happens in predominantly Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia. So the Democratic Party has a dilemma. They form themselves out of these groups of people who don't agree on anything when it comes to the future. So what do? You can't promise the Muslim community a Muslim future while you're promising the gays that they get to exist. You can't promise the gays a secular future while you're trying to keep the Muslims happy. And you can't promise a Muslim future for the Christians in the black community. So you have a dilemma. You can't move forward. We need a boogeyman. So that's what the Democrats do. They can't move forward. They can't offer solutions or policies because they'll piss off the other groups. So they just make everybody hate somebody. There has to be a bad guy boogeyman. Right now, it's Donald Trump. Once he's gone, it'll be somebody else. So in 2014, I left the Democratic Party for good. I guess you could say that I identify as a conservative with libertarian tendencies. And I have made it one of my biggest missions to help as many people as possible see the truth and leave the Democratic Party. And that's pretty much it. If there's anything else you guys want to know, please comment, shoot me a message, shoot me an email. If you want me to go into any particular parts of this story a little bit deeper, let me know. I don't mind. Share this video. Maybe somebody you know and care about needs to see it. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.